Hi, everybody. So, throughout this semester, you're going to hear from different instructors and from different instructors of different ranks, lecturers, teaching fellows, professors. And you're going to hear about their learning to teach history, right? So, this idea of we all come from different worlds and different places. And quite frankly, we all have different teaching styles and different backgrounds in terms of how we learned how to teach. And so, you'll watch several of these throughout the semester, and this is sort of my version of that. Mine will probably be a little bit less structured than some of the others, but I'll try to, hit all of the main points. So, my learning to teach history is probably going to be, a little bit different than a lot of y'all's, and really a lot of other instructors and professors in the Tech Com department, in that I knew I wanted to be a teacher really early in life. I knew from probably sixth or seventh grade that I wanted to be a teacher. I remember experiencing really positive classroom experiences with some teachers and maybe not so positive classroom experiences with other teachers. And so that experience that I had sort of in my mind told me like, education is really important, and some of these classes are a lot better than others. And I think the common denominator for the really good classes were teachers who cared. Really less about teaching style, really less about bells and whistles, really less about um, if you're a good orator or a good public speaker, and really more about do you care about what you're teaching? Do you believe in what you're teaching? I think those characteristics are really what sets good teachers apart from average teachers. The type of teacher I am is one that really encourages student interaction and student engagement, right? So, one of the things I avoid, even though it can feel easier that way and it can feel more manageable that way, is I tend to try to avoid too much lecturing, right? I tend to try to avoid information dump and then say, see you later, hope you do okay. And I tend to try to focus more on lecturing what needs to be lectured and teaching things through interaction and through engagement where that is possible. And that usually looks like, splitting a class. Typically, a class is split into two sections. The first section would be the section where I would do more lecture and more information sharing, and the second sort of part of a class, I tend to try to come up with some kind of engagement activity that illustrates or exemplifies the content that I had just previously taught. And I try to do this really with every lesson that I'm planning, every lesson that I'm teaching, having some kind of activity that's tied to the concept or the idea. Um, Experiences that has influenced my teaching. Um, so, you know, really positive experiences are instructors, again, who have invested in me personally, instructors who are invested in the content personally, instructors who are passionate and care about the things that they're teaching. And honestly, not everything about technical communication I'm passionate about. Not everything really gets me excited and amped up. But what I try to do is I try to find the things that do get me excited and amped up, and I try to pass those on to the students, right? So not learning about comma splices or dependent clauses and independent clauses, not the most interesting content or content matter to start with. Um, but there's something, if there's something in this lesson that you can connect to the students with? Is there something in this lesson that excites you? Is there something in this lesson that you've just may use with you in your everyday life, that you've used with you in the past? And so those experiences, teachers that have done that in my life, have really sort of positively influenced and impacted my teaching. Negatively, on the other hand, are situations where teachers mostly just information dump or change expectations, say they want one thing and then ask for another, etc. So both positive and negative experiences have influenced my teaching over the years. How have I evolved as a teacher? So over the years, I've changed quite a bit. So the main things that I've learned and sort of evolved with is not getting too married or too in love, falling too in love with my own teaching practices. Okay. So for example, I used to have a class where I taught web design, and we would just sit in class and go line by line through code. Um, Quickly realized that that's not engaging, and was able to sort of flip some of that content, move it online, let the students figure out some of the more technical things on their own, and then use class as a discussion or use class as a way to clear up any confusion or questions. So that's just one example of how I've evolved as a teacher. But I'm constantly evolving in terms of trying to learn new best practices, looking at research and seeing what research is saying about how to teach these particular topics, um, and really just trying to slowly implement and test different approaches to teaching different topics to different subjects.